I know on your blog this week you asked Texans fans if they had some questions
Yes.
for Eric Winston. Do you have those?
I do. Wait, hold on. Let me get at the secret compartment in this chair.
These, our furniture provided by our friends at Billiard Factory, billiardfactory.com. Your chance
Nice
to build
stuff
your
right
very
here.
own.
Nice stuff.
I'll tell you what, this is even part of the commercial. My whole playroom was from the Billiard Factory. They really hooked me up, and I paid for it. So, you know, again, I really,
contribution.
So I really appreciate it that I'm talking about it and I paid it. But, you know, I got a stool for each team that I played with. So I have a Washington Redskins stool. They put the pool table there. Then they have the Eagles lighting.
So what you're saying is the party's at your house.
After party over there.
Open
There we go.
invitation.
You call it your man cave is called a playroom?
No, the pool room, pool table room. What do you know? The game room is what I'm.
There you go.
Hey, that's a man. I have 5 kids.
Okay.
So,
You don't have a room.
I don't exactly.
No, you
I
got
just
no
had
room.
visions of my kid's playroom becoming my man cave. So.
No,
that's-
it's
yeah,
game
one
room.
day,
We
but
have a
not now.
Well,
playroom.
and even if you do have a playroom, they don't want to be in this playroom. They want to be where you are, so their toys and stuff
Yeah.
are all
like
where
my
you
movie
are.
room, that was the one thing I said, okay, this is daddy's spot. Nobody can come in here. Yeah, right.
Yeah, how'd that work
Yeah,
out
Yeah,
for
my
you?
3-year-old's looking at me like, I'm going to mess up that. I'm going to mess that up. And it's just like she said, I don't have a room. I have to go to the
Yeah.
office.
Can we
Doesn't work
put
that
Dora on the big screen?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Steph. You had some questions.
Okay, now
from
this
fans.
one is actually related to the question that Indy asked earlier. This is from Dead Coach. I think he's not dead, though. One of the football cliches I hear a lot is that linemen like to run block more than pass block. Generally, the guy's saying that the announcer who's saying this is a quarterback, so what does he know about blocking? It seems like the line has to cover more ground in run blocking and has bigger pileups that expose them to injury more. I can see very few reasons why you'd like pass blocking more, especially if you're good at it. So do linemen in general prefer run blocking over pass blocking?
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, I think it just gives you more of a chance to be successful. It gives you a chance to be aggressive, get after.
Because you're going forward
defense.
versus.
And it gives you a chance also to dictate the pace of play to a certain degree. Always defenses have to be reactive in a certain stand. I think the best defensive coaches can get your defenses not to play reactive and somehow take the game to the offense. But at the same time, I think if you're a good offense, you're always dictating what kind of game it's going to be, what kind of tempo it's going to be. And I think run blocking is the only way to do that. I think it's tough to do that. I think it's near impossible to do that pass
What
blocking.
takes more of a physical toll on you, run blocking or pass blocking?
Run blocking.
Yeah.
For
I
most
mean, like,
pass blocking. You get into long pass block games, you don't feel nearly as bad after the game as you do run blocking.
I mean, the Broncos ran the ball 55 times. Those guys are going to be sore today.
Yeah, they're not. They're probably going to hurt a little bit, I would say.
Okay, CJ Scuba says, who is doing the play calling now? Is it Kubiak or is it Dennison? Not so much the opening script. I bet that's both of them, but during the game. I've heard both, that Kubiak is still calling from the sideline, but then it was speculated that it's been turned over to Dennison. What is...
Yeah, I have no idea, actually. I'm out there, and I'm doing my thing. I'm sure that just from in the past, they've always switched it back and forth, and who's hot and who's not, and kind of gone from there. So I have no idea who calls the plays, but whoever's doing it, I think, is doing a pretty decent job. I'd have to think that Dennison and Kubiak are probably switching off, and I wouldn't be surprised if Benton has a large say in what they're running in the run game too. What we're running in the run game.
Okay, Davey Boyce says, what is your opinion on the comparison of Foster versus Tate as far as runners from your perspective? What do you think
they're a little
differences?
different. Foster is a guy I think that's smooth. I think he's a guy that can be a little bit more patient in the sense that he's not scared to stretch a play out a little bit more and hit the corner than trying to just jam it up in there. I think Tate's getting better at that. I think you saw him a couple times this past week.
Well, he had that
much
juke
more.
stick move for the touchdown. That was nice.
Yeah, and that's impressive too. I think Tate is a little bit more power, but also I think his top speed's really well too. You haven't seen him break out yet, but he can go as well.
Due.
Yeah, he can go as well.
I think that's going to happen.
I think he's a big, thick guy. I think both of them. I don't think people realize how big Arian is either. Arian's a big guy too for a running back, but
You said the top speed of Tate. Is he faster than Arian?
I have no idea. The thing is, you never see either of them getting caught. So
Yeah, Arian
they're all
seems to
pretty
break off
fast.
more
You know,
80-yard
Oh, they'll
runs.
both
Yeah.
run over guys. I mean,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
nice hit on, was it
they
Talib
both get
yesterday?
after them. They both
Talib,
go.
Yeah, got
I
faked out of the
think.
shoe.
Oh, no, but there was the other play at
Oh,
the end
right,
of the
right,
play.
right, where he
Foster
ducked
goes,
his- yeah.
boom.
So, but I think Tate is a guy who's still learning some. But like you said, you like how he ducks his head. I think he gets a ton of yards after contact. Those are, I think, some of the small differences.
Okay, another question from Jeff S. J.J. Watt says that he likes to sneak peeks at the Texans' offense and that he sneaks peeks on the jumbotron. What do guys do when their side is off the field? You can talk on this too. I know that the quarterbacks are always studying screenshots, but what are you guys doing?
Well, there's screenshots for us. There's tight copies for us that we look at just in the box where they're lining up, what they're doing right after the snap. But I always get caught watching the game too. I like to watch our defense play, so I'm up there watching, seeing what everyone's doing, and sometimes hey, listen, I got to change something, But sometimes there's not some things to be changed. Some things are good, or hey, we saw that, or you had 3 and out possibly of just pass plays where the protection was good. So I'd say, hey, just keep this up, and then you kind of just watch the game from there. So, if things need to be changed, obviously we're not watching it, but I watch the game a lot. Watch the defense playing a ton.
Good questions
Been
from
fun.
your fans.